Welcome to Gobster's latest video. Remember that the following is his opinions and may offend you. If you are, no one cares. Now let's get to it.
Well, hello you gorgeous mother truckers, you, and welcome to another video. Right then, we're going to start this one straight off by playing the clip from The Sun, so you can hear the words of the girl involved and her father. I think that's the best way to sort of start this, so you can listen to it, and then we can have a little chat afterwards, can't we, about how I particularly feel about it, and you can then let me know in the comment section down below what you think. That's of course if YouTube actually allow you to do it. And also, while I'm at it, you might as well think about liking, sharing and subscribing, because that would be nice as well. In any case, I'll let them take it away, and I'll catch you the other side of the video.
I decided to wear my Union Jack dress to represent the music and the nationality where I come from. It made me feel proud, it made me feel confident. All my friends were saying, oh my god, what a great dress. I walked in and my teacher was like, oh, is that like ginger spice? I was like, yeah. It felt normal, I felt proud, yeah. The first teacher I saw, she straight away just took me to go get changed. She didn't want to hear about my dress or see it. She just straight away wanted to get changed and not be in it. Another teacher tried to stop me and said that you can't be in that, it's your nationality and not your culture. And some other girl who's wearing her family tradition like rugby top got told to change as well. They asked me to come with them and to change into a second-hand school uniform, and then they said that I didn't sign a form. When the head of year did ring my mum and she said she did sign it, yet they still didn't want me to wear it.
I went to the school, pick her up to see your daughter, who's, she's a grade A student, and she's sat in reception like she's being punished for something. She wasn't allowed in school, she wasn't allowed to take part, the school wasn't willing to read her speech, they weren't interested in anything she had to say. She was literally put out to one side and treated like she was doing something wrong, and you can see in her face she didn't, she was upset. It's terrible because this is a 12-year-old child's interpretation of what British culture is to her. So for example, mine would be perhaps a man with a pinstripe suit and a bowler hat, drinking a cup of tea. A 90-year-old person's might be something else, but this is a 12-year-old's representation of what British culture means to her, and she was silenced and she was shut down, and she wasn't the only one, there was other kids there. And for me, these kids need to be proud of where they come from, and they need to learn about and share their experiences about their culture. And it happens too often these days. People are told to, take your flag down or be quiet. It's not about you, it's not about your culture, it's about everybody else's. The school weren't very interested to begin with in communicating with me. They were trying to get me to take a phone call the following day. I had to demand more or less there and then for somebody to come and speak to me. We kept it quite brief. We took Courtney out of school. I think I got a phone call Sunday evening with an apology from the school, and they did a complete U-turn, and they have apologised and they have realised that they've done something wrong. But this still happens in schools, and this still happens to British kids. If this happened to anybody else, there'd be an uproar about it, and we sit back and we're quite tolerant and we let it go. But this time, we can't let this sort of thing happen to our kids. They're the next generation, they're the voices. And if we start silencing them now and not teaching them to be proud of their culture, then where do we end up?
So there you go. In her own words and in her father's words, although I think her father was being rather too restrained. He goes on about the fact that, this is what happens. But it had been me, I would have probably gone quite nuclear, to be fair, at my school if that happened, because it's just not acceptable in any way, shape or form. And the problem with this is well, for one, schools have ceased to become education centres and have now become more indoctrination centres. And you can see this by the attitude of the teachers. So clearly her form tutor or her form teacher saw absolutely no issue with any of this at all. Saw that, you know, it was a dress that Jerry Halliwell wore when the Spice Girls were awesome. So she saw no problem, or he. Never really quite clear whether they're male or female teachers who have said this. So clearly she goes out to do some, maybe going from form to her next lesson. I'm sure everybody does it the same in the sort of senior schools, where you actually go from one different classroom to different classroom, depending on what your lesson is. Usually how they do it. So in any case, on the way there, or as she gets there, she gets spotted, as she said, by another teacher who is clearly outraged because, well, she's a traitor, or he's a traitor. See, I'm not going to, we got to stop sort of tiptoeing around this issue. If you believe that somebody wearing a national flag is offensive, then you're a traitor. End of. I got no time for you. Not only is this, but I could imagine that the teacher in question was offended because they might upset somebody else. I mean, there is no sign or indication that anybody else actually complained. It was the archetypal issue of this country at the moment, which is somebody else presuming or taking offence for somebody else. Because it doesn't appear that anyone else complained. Then clearly along come another teacher who was also suitably outraged. Now, I would ask the question, the nationalities of these teachers, because I wouldn't be surprised if they were white English. You see, you're already then to type in the words "you racist," weren't you? Because there seems to be this overwhelming need for university indoctrinated white people and middle class white people who've got nothing else better to do to automatically be offended and upset for everybody else. You know, they will take offence for somebody else. They will take offence, for instance, for a black person because somebody said something potentially racist, which in its turn is you being very racist because, well, you are, but they don't see that. So, as you heard, she's not the only child that this happened to. It seems like this school has, well, employed all the right people, because that's how it seems, isn't it? Now, as he said, apparently the school has apologised. I wouldn't accept the apology. You see, it's the mindset that's the problem. Going, oh, we shouldn't have said that, we shouldn't have done that, is irrelevant. Now, if I was the father, I would have said, well, I need to see everybody else, what they're wearing. Because I'm sure there'll be things that I find offensive. You see, again, it's the issue that we have in this country at the moment. It's okay that everybody's offended by our nationality and our culture, but it's not the other way around, is it? There, if you are offended, you're a racist. See, now, as far as I'm concerned, racism is supposed to work both ways. I know it doesn't, and I know you're all going, but Gobster, I know. But it should work both ways. So, why am I not allowed to be outraged and offended by somebody walking around wearing a Palestine flag? I mean, I have had to actually go into my school recently because there was a particular child who kept coming out and he got a Free Palestine badge on his uniform. And I went in and told the head teacher that I don't find that acceptable. They tried to wingle it out of it. I said, okay, fine. So if I send my child in with an Israeli flag lapel badge, for instance, would the rules apply? Or if she had a Union Jack on, or a cross of St George, or even a religious cross? And they went, well, no, well, of course, well, yes. Anyway, well, it's different. The actual words were, well, that's a different issue. And I went, no, it's exactly the same issue. And surprisingly enough, fortunately, I had a head teacher at my school who's quite on the money, and that child never wore that badge ever again, which is how it should be. But unfortunately, there are thousands of people in charge of schools and teachers in schools who have been fully indoctrinated by the left-wing universities that they went to, and are sadly not based in reality. There are still good teachers. My little Lexi's current teacher, end of the year, she's been absolutely awesome, and she is very, very based, and the kids love her. The fact I had to move her into that class from another class, which she was doing really, really well, and they had a new teacher, and that new teacher was a Muslim female. Now you're all going to go, here he goes again. No, because the class became exceedingly disruptive, because the Muslim boys there wouldn't take orders from the Muslim female teacher, and my daughter's scores dropped like a stone. My daughter was crying every night from somebody who loves school because of the kids misbehaving. That's when I explained to the head teacher, because unlike everybody else who just went this, that and the other, I actually turned around and said it's a cultural issue. That's the problem. And you'll never be able to, no matter how much work you put into that, you're never going to be able to address that, because it's a cultural issue. This teacher's now leaving. And I'll be honest with you, I felt sorry for her, because you could see she was desperately trying to be a good teacher. But when you've got a class which had 5 Muslim boys who refused to listen because of their culture, because of what they're taught by their barbaric religion, it's an issue. So to whoever's teachers said that that girl shouldn't wear her Union Jack dress, and to all the others who got told they couldn't wear their national dress, you are traitors. You are scum, as far as I'm concerned, because it's you who's helping and aiding and abetting the destruction of this country by acting like that. And you should be sacked, but you won't be. And the school will work overtime to sweep this under the carpet. But it's not acceptable, and we've got to stop. I mean, her dad was like, oh, well, this and I'd be going mental. I'd be trying to do, well, I would do what they would do the other way around, which is I'd have a protest outside the school. Because that's what they do. So if they can do it, so can I. Although I know I'd probably get arrested because of two-tier everything. Because there's no such thing as a protected race, is there? Unless, of course, it's a Muslim one. Because old Keir Starmer said, and to the Muslim communities, I promise we will protect you. Yeah. Any case, I'm done. Ways to support the channel down below. I shall look forward to seeing you in the next one. So, take it away, Arnie.
Thank you for watching Gabs' latest video. If you enjoyed it, you could like and share. If you want to see more, you can subscribe and hit the notification bell. If YouTube doesn't delete it, you can try and let him know what you think in the comments section below. He will be back. Now, get to the chopper.